Welcome to the Lifted Lifestyle Podcast. This is a call to action to live above limitations that try to disrupt your peace, steal your joy, and limit your access to your best life. I'm Latasha Weatherspoon, the Chief Empowerment Officer of the Lifted Lifestyle and your favorite host. I can be found on social media at Tasha Spoon on all social media platforms. I'm joined today with my favorite host, Mr. Chaz Bailey, the creator of opportunities.
Hello world, this is me, Chaz Bailey. You can find me on social media at Chaz Bailey on Twitter and Creative Opportunities on Instagram. I'm definitely happy to be here today. Ready to get into this show. I hope you all are as well. Like I said, just happy to be here. So what are we going to do today?
Okay, well, before we get into the show, we got to open with our customary moment of gratitude. You remember, we want to take a moment of gratitude and reflect on the things that we've been blessed with throughout the week. So what are you grateful for this week?
Well, actually, I'm grateful for a healing process. I began the week suffering with some food poisoning. Yeah. And so shout outs, first of all, to my immune system for bouncing back in 48 hours. But also shout outs to Dr. Robbie down at Next Level Care in Houston. He gave me some tablets, and I was concerned when I took them because, you know, I was always big in sci-fi and action movies, and it told me don't swallow the pills, just put it under my tongue and it'll dissolve. And I was like, that's what I do when I tell secrets, and somebody got me pinned. I got to take that cyanide tablet and take me out the game. But
you're such a villain.
Yeah, exactly. But it put me back in there. So shout outs to Robbie at Next Level. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to be here because I understand that something, what I had, he told me it can be severe. So I'm grateful for not having to go through that. So I'm definitely grateful for healing.
Yeah, you were suffering quite a bit with food poisoning. That looked like it was no fun.
No,
so
not at all.
Shout out to Dr. Robbie wherever you are. So I am starting the week on a total cloud nine. I am so grateful this weekend. I was able to have my bridal shower. Yay! And it was absolutely amazing. Shout out to my sister who made all of those beautiful paper flowers that you're looking at, and my entire bride tribe for being amazing and making the day effortlessly beautiful. I didn't have to do anything but show up and look pretty, and it was absolutely amazing. So I'm definitely grateful for that experience and every person that made it amazing.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That sounds good. That's important to have a good bridal shower. So
it was a wonderful day. My heart is still so full of love and gratitude for everyone who showed up. You know, people came from DC and Georgia, Louisiana, you know, to be with me, and I definitely appreciate it.
That's awesome. That's something
definitely
to be grateful for.
Yes. So today's show, we're going to talk about the power of being organized, or the importance of organization in your life, right?
Yeah, organizing your time. That's definitely important.
Organizing your time. People often say, Tasha, you have so many irons in the fire. You're doing so much. How do you and Chaz keep it all together? Like, what do you guys do? And so, in transparency, you know, the guru of organization in my life is Mr. Chaz Bailey. So he keeps me organized and on task. So I'm going to let him walk us through some of the ways that he keeps my life together and lifted, organized, and all those things. Mr. Bailey?
Well, I mean, it is highly important, and as I've been ordained here in the last 20 minutes as the guru of organization, it comes to a realization that no matter if you're a guru or you just are not friends with organizations, no matter what happens, it comes a time where your organization could have been better.
Definitely.
And so
Definitely.
forth. And as I said, you know, I was out sick earlier in the week. And so a lot of my, 9-to-5 work gets a little bit behind. And so, I would say, well, if I organized this a little better, I could have achieved this or did that. So even with me, AKA the guru, I have to pay attention to organization. And so getting into today's show, we're going to talk about how.
Well, what are the benefits? Let's start with the benefits. What are the benefits of being organized?
Well, the benefits, that's a good place to start. The benefits is basically it encompasses all of your relationships. Understanding that anything that you do, any place you go, whether it's a personal relationship with someone else, whether it's work, whether it's school, play, hobbies, it benefits that, because if your organization in terms of time is well in that, nothing but positive energy comes from that.
Definitely.
So you show up at the game on time, or you show up to practice, or
Definitely.
you show up to the study sessions, you show up to the test, you have your full time. It's nothing but positivity around that. It's nothing negative, in my opinion, that encompasses that time frame. When you're thinking about in terms of organization.
One thing that I learned from you primarily is putting things in their perspective place.
Yeah.
So ranking things by priority, and all the level 1 things, which are the highest of priority, get scheduled first. Mm-hmm. And then once you schedule the level 1 things, the very high priority things, which are, the things that have to get done at work or at home. For me, the level 1 things often include my family first, and then my self-care, and then business. Because if I do things in that order, taking care of myself, taking care of my home life, then work can go a lot smoother. Yeah. And then the things that are the highest priority at work, and putting them in order that way, like based on their level of importance or urgency, is definitely important.
No, it definitely is. And one thing you stood out because you talked about what you like personally, and then also you spoke about work. And when we explore our careers and things of that nature, one thing we always say, or we hear, is that I want to enjoy a work-life balance. I want to be able to go to work when I want to, and I want to be able to play when I want to, and etc. But understanding the power of organizing your time allows you to have work-life balance.
Agreed.
Because in different avenues, and I understand that some of our listeners, they may be in various organizations. Some organizations require you to work 12 hours a day. Some organizations require you to be on the clock 24 hours. But in terms of organizing your time, basically some of the tasks you have to do, and instead of putting them off, you prioritize them so you can knock those out, because you say, well, I do want to go to lunch with my coworker, or I do want to get home in time enough to watch my son's baseball game, etc. But if you don't organize your time well, you can't organize your task well, and then everything start overflowing, and then now your work-life balance is off. It's simply off. And so I think that's a key part of it. And then also thinking about work-life balance is just that being able to prioritize the things in life, you have to understand that the key word in prioritizing is timing. You have to understand when that is due, or what does this mean to me to allow this to be done at this time, or can I put it off? So that's one of the weights we have to look at as well when we speak about organizing your time. It's plenty of benefits in terms of it.
And I think that scheduling everything in your life, putting everything on your planner, everything that you absolutely have to get done, and in its order of priority, is important. It increases your efficiency. It increases your effectiveness, and it increases your ability to be present in the task that you're working on. I think for me, knowing that, okay, for this hour from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'm working on just this, allows me to be fully present in this. Yes. And then at 10 o'clock, if I haven't finished, I'm moving on to the next thing. And then I allow myself lanyap time at the end of the day. For those of you that are not in Louisiana, that's a little extra time at the end of the day to go back and kind of work on some of the loose ends that I haven't tied up. But accountability comes from scheduling for me. Scheduling things, putting them in the level of priority, and moving from task to task makes me feel like I've just, climbed Mount Rushmore, when I can check things off of my to-do list, or, or move them down in the rankings of what I need to do. It makes me feel so accomplished.
Yeah, that's one of my goals in my daily life, is just to
I stole that from you, by the way.
To be accomplished. And, my accomplished comes from, finishing my list and understanding that completing those important things, as we spoke about, by prioritizing. But also in terms of let's say we get away from work. Let's say we get away from the task considered work. But in life we have what we want to achieve, such as our goals. What organizing your time does, it allows you space to help achieve your goals. Because as you said, all right, from 9 to 10, I'm going to work on this. So now you created a space. Let's say that 9 to 10 hour is something to achieve your goal hour. And so you're putting in an hour out of your day dedicated to that. So you're automatically, each time you do that, going to be a step closer to your goal.
Agreed.
And so when you look at it in that sense, you're walking the ladder of success, because you're putting the time in, you're putting the work in, the effort in, based on organizing your time. That's one of the foundations of being able to do anything.
And I think you have to be realistic about how much time certain things take.
Yes,
you know,
yes, definitely.
And giving yourself ample amounts of time to get certain things done really allows you to focus in on them. Sometimes you finish early, you have a little bit more bonus time at the end of the day, you know, but being able to move from task to task is really important, and it will keep you more efficient and effective in everything. And you know, when I tell people, like, for example, Chaz and I schedule our date night. It is our time. It is non-negotiable. It is on the calendar, so that we don't take appointments at that time, so that, you know, we're not at business mixers or conferences at that time, so that it is truly non-negotiable. And those things, you know, having that non-negotiable time has helped our relationship. Having those non-negotiable times when I'm working on solely on business has helped my business. I think that there's no two ways about it. The more organized you get, the more benefits you see.
Yes, because simply, one thing, you don't have to worry about too much. Because
Agreed.
Or you don't have to worry about taking too much on. Because
Agreed.
if everything is sectioned off, if I come to you at 9 o'clock, at the 9 o'clock hour, and I say, well, I need you to take care of this during this hour, and you say, well, no, I can't because I can do this, or I have to do this, that shows where you are comfortable where you are, and you're confident in what you're doing. And also you're moving that aside to say, this is important, I'm prioritizing it, and I don't want to take too much on. So I think that is a key thing you touched on, because that opens up having fun, having the date nights, having the leisure time, being able to go, you know, relax, simply relax. So I think that is definitely an important step that you said, that is in terms of benefits. It overall, it increases your efficiency.
Definitely. I definitely agree. And, you know, for me, I kind of fought tooth and nail, you know, a little bit on sticking to the schedule. Like, if we put it on the schedule this time, we have to, because I'm more free flowing, you know, I'm kind of more artsy. I want to just go with the flow and, you know, and see how things are coming. But Chaz is, you know, more like, he's the guru of organization because he's married to his planner and to-do list. So we have to do things in the exact order in which they show up. But it created balance, you know, a lot of balance, I think, you know, for us, because I'm like all vision and he's all like, you know, organized. So when you put the organization and the vision together, you are going to end up with success.
Yeah, definitely. And that leads to the next point, and understanding why it's relevant and why prioritization is important. And that is key, because that's one thing we have to realize. Like, now we understand the benefits, but now ask the question, well, why? Well, I've been living my life like this forever. Why is it important for me to do it now? It got me this far. You know, that's some of the things we hear, and that's some of the things I even said in my life before. But understanding that prioritization goes further than just saying this is important. It's a reflection of your own responsibility and morals and values and in your beliefs. Because something Tasha said earlier, she alluded to family. So if I had family as my number one on my self list, then what I prioritize is going to mainly deal around my family. So if I take a job, my job is my money maker. However, my task going to be oriented where I can go down and say, I need to be home by 5:30 because I need to be with my family, or I need to be off this day to see my son's game or my daughter's performance, etc. So that's one thing. When we need to make it relevant to what we're doing. We had to say that I enjoy doing this because, and then you organize the time behind that, because now you've made it relevant to you, and you made it basically something that is personal. It's not going to a job and saying, well, I'm here all day, give me a pile of stuff to work with. But after a while, it says, like, I have too much on my plate. But when you make that relevant for what you want it to be, and you prioritize it accordingly, then you see success on all levels.
I definitely agree. And something that, I've gotten from you is your commitment shows up in your priorities.
Yes.
The things that you prioritize really reflect the things that you're the most committed to.
Exactly.
So prioritizing things really has to start with what you value most, and then so forth and so on, or what needs the most immediate attention.
Exactly.
Because we have to be honest with the fact that there are some things that we're going to want to do, but there are also some things that we're going to have to do in order to do the things that we want to do. So we have to get the have tos out of the way in order to get to the want tos. So prioritization for me really, although it shows your commitment, it also keeps you accountable to the things that you said were most important.
Exactly.
To the things that you said you were committed to the most.
Yeah.
Whether it be in your personal life or in your business, getting real clear about what those things are is important. Is the first step, because until you have gotten clear on what is most important to you, at home, what is going to take the most time, what is the most urgent, it gets real hard to prioritize those things because you haven't sat with yourself and determined the relevancy.
Yeah, you just took my talking point away.
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's not a point. It's not a problem. I think that's perfect, because one thing that came to my mind was that you have to be able to sit with yourself before you prioritize anything, because you have to understand who you are first. Because if you can think of it like this. If I love the Atlanta Falcons. And so that's my team in football. So if they're playing, I'm going to try to make moves to be around my team, But
boo.
Anyhow, haters going to hate, But anyhow, I'm going to make moves to be around my team. So I'm committed to being an Atlanta Falcons fan. However, that doesn't align with my goals and dreams. That's basically something that is of substance to who I am, but not saying that's my goals and dreams. So if I have an opportunity to raise myself in terms of my dreams and my career, and also the Falcons have a date where something big is going on, and I choose to go with the Falcons, then I really have to sit with myself and realign myself up to who I am and what my values and what my goal really is. Because a lot of times we can let some short-term things deter us off of our path.
I mean, and just a little quick nugget, but if you really think about it, the things that you spend the most time doing, whether you're honest about it or not, are the things that are the most important to you.
Yeah, true.
The things that have your attention are the things that you're prioritizing. So if you're spending more time watching football than playing with your children, that means that football means more to you than your children do.
That's
I'm
a
the
harsh
messenger.
reality.
I'm the messenger.
But no, that is really true, and a lot of times we may not realize it. And
Agreed.
And that's why I think it's not a pointing finger type of deal right now, but it's just saying now that that's out there, it makes you back up for a second and say, let me think about it. Let me reassess who I am, my values, my goals, my aspirations, and then you can align that over. So then when it's a double booking where my Falcons are in town and I have a engagement to be at, then I say, well, my engagement matters more. I'll check the stats and hope we win. I'm able to maneuver that way because then I can realign. But sometimes it takes that quiet time with yourself to assess that, all right, this is what I really want. This is who I really am. And I'm not going to let anyone deter this, because one thing with organizing your time is that in every realm of it, that you always control the narrative if your time is organized.
Agreed.
So where we go on different jobs, that's my football team. But if my time is organized, I still control the narrative. Like, even though you're in town, I have something else planned, so I control myself going to that rather than going down to the stadium. And it's not saying I'm turning my back, but it's just saying that I understand who I am. I understand what I'm going for and what I need to prioritize to be great in my personal life, and that's what I'm shooting for. So it's something as simple as just prioritizing not only the time, but it also has a phase of your life in it.
And, when you actually get organized and you're using your resources and you're writing things down, it gives you a sense of clarity.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of things that are taking up our time that we don't even recognize. For example, for myself, I didn't realize how much time I was actually spending on social media until I got real rigid about my time. And I knew that, even budgeting that time, like, I budget everything in my day for the time of my day. But once you start to write it down and get real clear about it, and you see, wow, man, I was spending an hour a day on Facebook, and that's an hour I could have been using to market to coaching clients, to write on book 2 and 3, whatever, whatever it is. You're looking at how much time you're spending and how much time you're wasting, Actually getting clear about those things will really show you some things about yourself that you may not even be conscious of, because there are a lot of things that happen to us on the day-to-day basis that if we are not intentionally being aware, they'll slip right past us.
No, I agree. And it's basically going to the point. What I said earlier is just that remembering that you control the narrative.
Agreed.
Because though we like social media, though we like sports, though we like movies, entertainment, all these other things that we like that become hobbies of us. When someone asks us a question, what is your hobby? You answer these questions. But when they ask you who you are, your answer is a little different. But when we engulf ourselves in these hobbies and that point and lose our time in it, then that seems more important than our goal. So now we handed them the keys to our life. So social media is driving our lives. We have sports driving our lives. When we have to remember, we control the narrative.
To shift that focus. We have to shift that focus to the core values.
Yeah, because when we write out our schedule of the day, if we don't include that in the day, you just didn't make the cut. Maybe tomorrow. You may make it tomorrow. Better luck next time.
And plan the things that you enjoy.
Exactly.
In addition to, your actual work and family things, plan social media time.
Exactly.
Plan nothingness time. Plan meditation. Whatever it is, put it on your schedule and be rigid about it. Make it a habit for 7 to 10 days to actually do your schedule the way that it is written.
Yeah.
Non-negotiably. Just do the schedule the way that it is written. And of course, life happens. As you say, there are always emergency exits or emergency windows. Of course, life will happen. Things will pop up. Make adjustments for the things that pop up based on their urgency.
Exactly. And then one thing to add to that point, which is very valid, is that by organizing your time, what happens is that you find time. When you're sitting there and you're running the rat race and you're in the jungle, just hustling, doing your thing, working hard, what happens? You say, man, it's not enough time in the day. I can't complete this. It's not enough time in the day. But have you organized the time in the day? So once you put everything in perspective, from understanding, first thing we talked about, the benefits, then going into say, okay, let me apply it. Prioritizing it, then now you have a list, you have a schedule. 24 hours in a day, I'm sleeping 8, so you're down to 16. So out of that time, next thing you know, you say, well, I carved out 12, I still have 4. And I'm gonna have 2 to just chill out and enjoy myself, and the other 2 is just out there. So then what happens? I get caught in traffic. It's not a problem. 30-minute extra on my trip. Guess what? I'm still gonna be there because
I have a little cushion.
I have a cushion, and that's the emergency window that Tasha alluded to. But because you create that cushion, because sometimes we're looking for grace from everyone else, but we have to have grace for ourselves.
Agreed.
And then we speak about that in other areas, but also time. Give yourself grace and time.
That's important. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
So what are your go-to resources when it comes to organization?
All right, my go-to resources. And I would say first, with technology, using my phone. Like
iCalendar,
yeah, using the calendar. And I have a little task app. And so every day I list all my tasks for the next day. So that night before, I list all my tasks, and you just touch it and give you a nice little check mark. And I just feel accomplished seeing that check mark, like I'm a kindergartner and I did good on my handprint test. So I'm just like, yeah, this is it. And so I see that, and it makes me feel good. But then on the flip side, when I procrastinated and I didn't see it, I'm like, man,
Send
I
you that alert.
Yeah, it sent me that alert, and I'm like, man, I didn't get on it today. I left some stuff on the table. So then I say, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna do this, and so I realign my goals and I realign my focus. But then also I learn from what I did wrong, and so I say, well, because I did that, this is what happened. So now I realign my focus to where I get back on that golden road to reach my goal and keep pushing forward. And so I think the key thing is having my to-do list app. I think that's what it's called, to-do list. And then the next would be having a calendar. And one important thing, so since you asked me to tell you my resources and everything, make sure you only have one calendar, just one, because I was using like the Google Calendar. I had the calendar on my phone. I had a calendar at the house. I had a calendar at work. And some of that I left things off. And so I look at one, I'm like, oh, I don't have anything today. And my phone didn't alert me. And then I look at the house calendar. And now it's like, wow, it's too much.
Now, that's where we're a little bit different because I have it's still one calendar essentially, but I have my Apple iCalendar on my phone because, of course, with iCalendar, it transports to all of your devices.
Yes.
So you can see it if I'm on my laptop or if I'm on the my handheld, whatever. It goes with me wherever I go. But I'm kind of old school, so I like to write in my planner, a little pen and paper. But what I do is I transcribe things from my iCalendar onto my fancy pretty calendar that I got that goes in my bag because it allows me to make notes in things. And I can make notes on my phone, but of course if you're in a meeting, you don't want to be just typing in your phone, which you can, but I'm just kind of old school that way. I guess it's the writer in me. I want to and I like to color code things.
I think
based on importance, and you can do it in the iCalendar, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love the iCalendars because I can color code things based on, if it's a family task, if it's a business task, so forth and so on.
And that gives you some idea of what you're working with. So I think that's important. And one thing too that I didn't say, I love writing things down. Now, to be organized, to put it in a nice little planner and all pretty like yours and all that. No, I'm loose leaf paper.
That's why you can't have more than one calendar.
And I fold it up and put it in my back pocket. And so I just pull out my little treasure map and like, all right, where I'm going today. And so, but I remember one of my best friends in the world, VJ Stewart, shout out to him. He's actually in Singapore. And when he was a college student, he visited me at my campus. And I think his baseball team played my team. And we were talking before the game, and he said, Bailey, he pulled out his planner. He said, this is the best thing that was ever invented right here. He said, because I remember that, and it was like 10 years ago. I just remember him saying that because he said, this is how I remember everything. And at the time, I was like, man, I got a good memory. I'm good. And then slowly, it wasn't that I was losing it wasn't even that I was losing my memory. It was that I gained more responsibility.
That's true.
And so I can juggle 8 balls, but when you start throwing 30 and 40 and all of that, I'm like, hold on, what's going on? And that's basically what happened. And is that taking the time to write it down, and then sometimes when I write, it reinforces my memory. So whatever.
That is true.
Simply, whatever works for you. If you're on your phone all day and you're like, man, I can't detach from my phone, use it to your advantage. Don't just use it as a negative. Say, okay, now I have my to-do list here. I'm using the calendar. I'm using my messenger app to remind me, my alarms. Use everything at your advantage that you're a part of. If you're a writer, such as yourself, write it down. Use a planner. Whatever that can help you along your journey to stay organized, whether it's doing a board and saying, okay, I'm writing this board every day, this whiteboard, and I'm going to erase it off, and every night, whatever works, go for it.
And you have to try different things to find what works for you.
Yes, definitely.
For example, of course, I have a journal that goes everywhere with me, but in the digital day and age, if you lose the journal, then you've lost it.
Everything,
so I use Evernote as a backup. So I put all of my notes, all of my, brainstorming into Evernote in addition to iCalendar because it can convert over. and go forth. I mean, you find things that work for you because, like, for example, the task alerts on the phone work for chats. They just get on my nerves. I would rather just set it in my iCalendar and let iCalendar remind me 30 minutes before my appointment that this is coming up and move forward. You know, things that work for us may not work for you. We're just telling you to find what does work and stick to it.
Exactly. So, I think that can be a call to action because I didn't really think of one, just being honest. And I think that's a good one, though. I think that's really good. Like, a call to action can be for this week is that find what works for you and start your journey in using it, whether it's writing, whether it's typing on a keyboard, whether it's on your tablet, iPhone, Samsung phone, whatever.
So find the calendar first, find the calendar
or
whatever planner you're going to use. If it's going to be a written calendar or planner, or if it's going to be a digital version, but find the tools that work for you. Start the process of trial and error,
and then see how that works and then just slowly expand on it.
Yes, of course. I think this is good, and I hope that we've given you guys some real tangible things that you can do to help your life be more organized.
Definitely.
Because organization does lead to a better quality of life and being able to do things with greater intensity as opposed to just doing 1,000 things.
Exactly.
So what's our good news story for the day?
All right, a good news story kind of deals with organization, but we're going into the season of graduates. So shout out to Miss Champs, who's actually in Houston attending Texas Southern University law school. She's actually graduating, and
this is the widow.
Yeah, she lost her husband and wanted to just give up on it all. And the story goes where one of her pastors told her that she had a dream that she went to law school, so do it. And so she was like, what? It ended up, long story short, doing it. And then, but the trial and error, once you're in there, she has children, 4 or 5 kids, and it gets heavy, it gets tough. But that's when organization comes into play. And what its story tells is that she had to organize everything. And sometimes she felt like she dropped the ball, but then she looked back, her oldest child was helping out and organizing the other children as well. So mom didn't have to worry about it because he knew mom was studying. And so after the years of going through her studies, she's actually graduating in a few days. So I wanted to bring that up because it's relevant, and I think it's a great thing to see.
Put that picture back up, Mike.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
First of all, she's a mother of 5 children, and then they got little signs.
Yeah, say I help.
We did it.
Yeah,
I think that's just absolutely
because that's what it takes. It takes
the entire family commits
the entire
to something
family
like
committing and organizing and seeing mom to the end of her goal. And she's actually graduating magna cum laude. So,
wow,
so
that's amazing.
That's not just getting out of school. That's just doing it big. So, shout out to Miss Champs, with her law degree shortly. So I'm definitely happy to see that. And hopefully we can apply the same organization to our lives.
Agreed. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the Lifted Lifestyle podcast. We hope that we've been giving you tools and resources that can make your life run a little smoothly. Run more smoothly.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Run more smoothly. Remember to go to theliftedlifestyle.com. Check out our new products and services. Follow us on social media. I am at Tasha Spoon.
And I'm at Chaz Bailey on Twitter and Instagram, Creator of Opportunities.
So remember to live lifted in everything that you do. Be the highest version of yourself.
Definitely.
Until next time.
Till next time.